Hey, quick video here on Minecraft Dungeons. Just showing you how I beat Apocalypse mode at around level 60. I don't know, I see a lot of people out there like level 80 or 100 who beat it then. I soloed my way through most of this game, and so, I don't know, I just want to share my build and outlook on this. And so the first thing you really need is a high level weapon. What I mean by this is you can't use like a high damage weapon. You can't use like sickles because this damage is terrible. Even though the attack speed is good and you can get like some on-hit effects, like Poison Cloud's actually decent with sickles because it'll proc it more. Um, but still, that's not good enough. And so I hate this weapon. It's so slow. And, I mean, it's kind of cool, but it's terrible. But it has a lot of damage, and you need that. That's an important step. And another note on damage: the higher level weapon you have, the higher your power level is. See how I'm only level 63, my power level is 80. That actually matters on the drops you get, and your power level is determined by the power of all your equipment. Um, okay, other important thing in this on your weapon, you need to have lots of healing, and so radiance. Leeching, really good. I only use this weapon over, say, like, this katana, or this, just because it has more healing. I would say the katana has, like, better traits, like swirling is really strong, um, but you need the healing if you're soloing. And then critical hit is honestly the best enchantment you can put on a high damage weapon, in my opinion. Um, so yeah, just lots of healing. So either one or two. Radiance isn't as good on a slow weapon like this, but leeching is really good. And so if you have a faster attack speed weapon than this, you'd probably be fine with just one radiance and no leeching, or two radiance. It's fine. You need a one form of healing on your weapon, and I'll tell you why. And that's because the combo is basically your artifacts. So this mushroom is hands down the best artifact in the game. Don't even argue with me that it's not. Um, well, I guess at least for solos it is. This will just increase your attack speed by so much. Like, look at this hammer, like it's trash right now. And then when I hit the mushroom, that's a lot of damage. It just turned into sickles basically. Um, and so the whole combo is you press your mushroom and you press your protection locket here. I don't know the actual name. Yeah, Iodine Amulet. You press that, and then you just jump into a pile of them, and you just smack them down. And the idea is that you'll take a lot of damage, but you'll also like life steal and radiance heal a lot of it back. Um, and so you basically just wait for these cooldowns before you go into like a pile of mobs. Um, and that's honestly it. The only reason I would say on your artifacts, the third slot is definitely optional, but the only reason I'm running shock powder is it works really well with this weapon. This weapon, like, gravity sucks in things around it, and so it's just really nice to get a big AoE stun. But I would say, like, the other options you could run that are really good, Soul Healer is really good, just because it gives you more sustain. Um, I don't like Totem as much just because it's heal over time, though. If you have a high level one, maybe it'll heal you fast enough. Um, I think Totem of Shielding is good. A lot of times when I jump into piles of mobs, there are a lot of archers in the back, and so just when you jump in and do your combo, um, just placing, one of these down is actually really helpful because there'll be a lot of archers, like diamond archers and golden archers that'll really chunk you that sit in the back. And I would also say in my opinion, the second best artifact, but I don't run it, is Torment Quiver. This thing does so much damage, can shoot through walls, has insane pushback. If you run this, uh, you can literally just kill mobs by pushing them like off of, like bridges and stuff. Like I think there are a couple boss fights, maybe not boss fights, but they're like mob fights where they send like these waves of mobs at you, but you can just push off the hard ones like into like the middle pit, and they'll just die instantly. And so this thing has insane knockback that you can take advantage of. This is a really good choice also if your armor has more soul gathering, or any of your weapons have soul gathering. Same with the healer. You'll benefit from that. Okay, so we'll look at armor here. I don't think armor is that important for this build. Besides, I really like swift-footed. So this really helps you kite and just, I don't know. When you're solo, you sometimes have to like skip past the redstone golems. And so it's really helpful to have swift-footed to just bypass stuff like that. I don't think you need 3 points in it. You can just put 1 or 2. But, you know, I had the resources to do so. Protection's fine. It's not really that great. I actually think Electrified is good, too. It does a lot of damage. But it's terrible on this armor that I have, but it was the best choice I had. So I got the longer roll cooldown. But it does a lot of damage, so Electrified definitely up there. But the armor itself for this doesn't really matter as long as you have a high power armor that gives you a lot of health. So yeah, I kind of just lucked out that I got like some extra defense with this armor. I think a defensive armor is better than an offensive armor in solos. And yeah. So for your ranged weapon, this is the most important for taking out bosses. I literally never touch bosses with my primary, or basically ever, because it's way too dangerous to come in close and they like melee smack you and you lose all your health. And so for your ranged weapon, you want kind of the same thing. You want like a high damage. So I wouldn't use like the low damage like this, like a scatter crossbow. You want high damage single shot, but you want it so that it has enough ammo. So I think like crossbow's good, and actually the standard bow is good because this gets a lot of armor, even though it doesn't say it here. And the charge shots do quite a bit. It's pretty fast to do a charge shot. There are other good options too, though. But if you have a crossbow, the best thing to have on it is accelerate. Because this, you just hold the button down and it fires faster and faster and faster. And I can show you here. You know, it starts off slow, and then eventually it's just so fast. And this will just melt bosses. Especially if you have a higher damaged one. There are better on-hit effects, like Poison Cloud's pretty good, but it's not that much damage. But I think like the bomb arrow is pretty good too. Yeah, I don't have the best crossbow, but the important part is just high power, high damage, and accelerate. And yeah, I mean, besides just the build, just being smart about taking fights, you know, when you do your combo, you know, the artifact 1 and 2, the mushroom and the locket here, make sure you go for the enchanters first, like the people that buff the other mobs. I don't know the exact name for them. I always want to take them out first, and then I'd say second, if you're in range, take out the like like the people that rise the pillars up. But because later on those explosions and the pillars will just one-shot you. And then I rarely ever fight creepers. I just kind of like, you know, walk up to them and then kite them back till they explode. Because I just don't want to waste arrows. You want to like stock up on arrows for the boss fight. You rarely want to use your arrows unless you really need to. Arrows are only worth it if you take out like the enchanter people or the geo, you know, pillar riser things. That's about it though. So, because you really want to have like 200 arrows or more for the boss fight. And yeah, that's kind of just how I did it. I hope this helps.